right, Matt, talk to me about Georgina.
Yeah, so Georgina, we saw a little bit of a price increase at 0.6% on the month over month. Year over year, we're actually up 0.4%, which is a nice sign. But if we look at year to date, we are down 6.7%. So Georgina on price wise is definitely held up a little bit better, but let's not forget Georgina kind of saw a pullback in the price a lot earlier than some of the cities or the other like Newmarket, Aurora, some of the other towns that we're going to look at just because of their proximity to Toronto. So Georgina definitely kind of saw that pullback price wise already. So I don't expect big pushbacks, pull downs on the price wise for them. When it comes to transaction volume, it did fall off about 10% from 64 to 58 month over month. Year over year, not bad, 4.9%, which is almost half of what we're seeing in Newmarket Aurora, where they were at around 8, 9, 10. And then even the year over or the year to date change at 12.1% for the transaction volume, down 12.1%. We were seeing in some of those in Aurora it was 33%, and in Newmarket 23%. So definitely holding up a little bit better and not losing as many transactions to start the year from last year. New listings are flat month over month, which is a good sign. Well, not the greatest sign actually, because the other towns were down um, quite a bit. So they did see a bit of an uptick, or they're still at an upper level, especially when we look year over year at 11.8%. And then median days on market, we're seeing it pretty much across the board. They were up 60%. They went from 18 days to 28 days. So we're definitely seeing a theme of more days on market. And then when it comes to termination volume, terminations down 11.5% month over month, which is a good sign. As you said before, we're starting to get homes priced a little bit better, and they're potentially selling within, you know, the time window before they adjust price or pull them off the market.
All right, taking a look at the visual representation of that, you can see these new listings. Like you said, they're flat, still
Yeah.
hovering a little higher. Like you said, we saw a decline in some of the other areas. So this will put us actually at the highest new listings have been in Georgina for the month of July. Um,
Yeah,
going
2017 had 216, so we just overtook that. It's a very thin pink line there,
yeah.
so it's kind of hard to see. But I do expect them to start to roll over just like they have previously. They got off to a really slow start with the new listings, and I thought that for sure we would be hovering around the middle of the pack, but we did see a
Yeah.
bit of an increase when it came to that. And that's kind of playing into the active listings in this market as well. Again, just like some of the other markets we've looked at, they're sitting at all-time highs at 385.
Yeah.
And then when we look at the sales volume, sales are struggling. They're beating a couple years, but in the grand scheme of things, sales are sitting at a low, and they're trending. They popped up a little bit there now, but they're starting to trend downwards. So if we don't start to see a little bit more strength in the sales side to mop up some of that active listings, this could definitely play itself down to the downside as the year goes on.
Yeah.
And then price wise, price is still holding up quite well. You look at
It
those
is.
charts, you're like, all hell must be breaking loose, but no. This is what is this? The second best year for prices.
Mhm.
2023 saw 820, and we're sitting at 815. When we look at 2024, we went down 790. There was parts in May where we were well below all the other months when it came to price wise, but we are starting to see a little bit of an acceleration in the price, or at least holding up steady this year.
Yeah, it's nice to see, and we've mentioned that before about Georgina, just kind of like cruising along. They're not as impacted, it feels, on any given month because they had their adjustments kind of earlier on. Is really the way that it went for Georgina. But like you said here, it is starting to stack a little bit. We are trending upwards in our months of inventory. I think it's because those new listings just kind of maintained instead of dropping off as quickly as we saw in other areas.
Yeah. And then, yep, months of inventory, 7.5 months. Um, we'll see if this month it starts to roll over in August and starts to slow down.